Tonight on Podcast Them Down, Symphony X, Baltimore Soundstage, end of the tour review. Podcast Them Down. Hail Metal Nation, it is I, Tim. That's Mike. This is Podcast Them Down. And we are going to, usually when we do a show review, it's like towards the beginning of the tour. But in this case, it was literally the last date of the tour. So I don't think it's going to be all that helpful for people farther on the tour. So this is more like a retrospective.
Yep.
Yep. So we saw Symphony X and Heathen at Baltimore Soundstage on June 8th, 2024. Yes. So this one was a weird one. Just the fact that I made it to the show, because what happened was I had originally a Fade to Black show scheduled for June 8th.
Right.
So we played, we being Eisenmore, played in Delaware June 7th. So the original plan was play Delaware, go to sleep, get up early, go play wherever the Fade to Black show was, and then miss this show. And I was all angry about it. But and it was like, I think the show was like way far away, like way away from Delaware. So It was going to be a miserable driving weekend, not much sleep, lots of driving, but 2 shows. But for reasons, it got canceled. So I was like, oh, sweet. I'll be able to do both. I'll be able to see Symphony X, because I don't think I've missed them a single time they've come. Pretty sure.
I definitely have, and I'm bummed about it. But
yeah, well, you should be. And so it all worked out perfectly, but also my wife was able to come to the show, which is like, she doesn't come to many shows. We did go to Tier, but like also like she gets bad luck sometimes. Like she saw Camelot and Sonata Arctica, and Sonata
we
was
woke
like in their absolutely terrible stage, which they still are in, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's more like I don't know. These are the waning years of their life.
Yeah,
this Sonata Arctica is nearing retirement or something.
Yeah, so it was good to have her. However, she is not at all interested in Heathen. So we got there, and I wanted to see some Heathen at least, but I don't know enough to know what I was missing, right? So we spent our time, we took our time walking around Baltimore for a while. So we walked by, all the museum ships and the submarine, and not the Clipper ship, but the Constellation, but we had a nice little stroll around Baltimore. And then I was like, finally, all right, let's go in. And man, I was surprised how well attended that show was. I don't know why. I just thought it would be empty, like relatively empty.
Well, I feel like Symphony X has been around so long that you don't know if they have like what is the age range of their crowd. So, we're nearing 40s or in 40s.
Shut up.
And so, you have this, it's like, oh yeah, we're all old. Who's going to come out to this? But there were lots of young kids there. So
damn,
apparently but I mean, it's good though, because they still have an appeal, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And I don't know if you realize this, their last album came out in 2015.
Yep. And
it's been almost 9 years.
Yeah. It's a solid album too.
Yeah.
I really liked Underworld.
I like it. I disagree with how Metal Archive ranked it.
Really?
We'll get there. Okay. So, Heathen, when did you arrive at the show?
So my wife and I actually,
My wife,
we were able to, drop off the kids at my parents, and then we went out for a date. So we actually got there way early. So we saw the entirety of Heathen set.
Nice. It was only 6 songs, but
I mean, but they were fun. They were fun.
Wait, where'd you eat? Because every time I'm in Baltimore, I want to go to Fogo de Chao, but I feel like having meat sweats before a show is a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, you cannot go to Fogo de Chao before. You would. One of my most vivid memories, me and my buddy Adrian, we go to the Fogo de Chao, and I always park in like Little Italy because it's free. And we went for lunch, and we're trying to get back to the car.
Oh no! But you're full of meat.
And he's like, "I gotta sit down, man." And like,
there's
Adrian,
nowhere to sit down.
We're like, he's like sitting down on like the side. There's like kind of like hip high pieces of concrete that are basically railings, and Adrian at the time was going through some medical issues that meat apparently did not affect. But I feel like I'm like, Adrian, come on, it's like another block. We gotta get just one more block, man. Yeah, so feeling like that at a show would be one of the worst things imaginable. No, we went to Little Donna's.
Sounds small.
Yeah, I'm at the stage of my life where I'm looking desperately for restaurants that I haven't already been to. So I just, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. It was really good. Highly recommend.
Not a sponsor.
Looking for sponsors from Little Donna's.
Yeah, please. The Zoom subscription is expensive. All right, so Heathen, like I know I've seen them before, but I didn't remember anything about them. So they are like traditional thrash, speed, whatever metal. They sound to me like 90s Anthrax playing 80s Anthrax. And I mean that in a good way. Just to be clear. Good. Yeah, he sounds like John Bush to me, the singer. Yeah, they all played Jacksons. They had a nice mix of, they were probably playing like Testament style thrash. They had clean parts, they had thrashy parts, they had it was just good. And like that drummer was the hardest working guy. Even when they played their slow song, the drummer was like,
it sounds
like
the
shit out of stuff.
Sounds like Wintersorg programming drums. Maybe not that insane, but
yeah. So I haven't decided what album to get because I looked up their set. So their set was they had an intro tape, then Dying Season, Opiate of the Masses, The Blight, Sun in My Hand, Breaking the Silence, and Hypnotized. And so, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, that's a nice slice of their discography. So it's 2 songs from Empire of the Blind, 2 songs from Victim of Deception, and 1 each from The Evolution of Chaos and Breaking the Silence. So now I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to get. If it was heavy on one album, then I could go out and for those listening, and I know we're on Spotify, we're actually distributed by Spotify now. Again, I should say, I hate streaming music, not podcasts. I hate streaming music so much that I forget Spotify and YouTube Music and Tidal and all those are things. So I don't listen to music until I have it, mm-hmm. So it's so when I sound out of touch, that's why. So, they are on Bandcamp. Heathen is, believe it or not, but the one album, the one everyone loves the most, is not available on Bandcamp. It's there, but you can't buy it.
Oh,
so
that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I bet it's a record label thing.
Oh,
so, But yeah, I really enjoyed Heathen. I don't have too much more to say about them other than the singer was walking through the crowd later, and I fist bumped him, and he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, they were, for us, I mean, it was fun. Comparing it to bands that I don't know very well for other shows, I mean, all I can think of is like Trollfest, which I know is not the same, but like,
Right.
Trollfest, it was like, oh, it was fun, and then it was not fun. Heathen was fun the whole time. Like, they were solid, great show, good showmanship.
Yeah, I was worried about, I said the same thing about Night Demon. I was like, I'm worried they're going to be too one note. They're going to do one thing and it's going to go on too long. That didn't happen again. So perhaps my fears are unfounded these days. But yeah, like, they kept it interesting. They only had 6 songs. It was a good set length, but they my wife wanted them to stop sooner so Symphony X could come on, but
they didn't outstay their welcome. It was very good.
Yes. So tell me which album to buy. Put it in the comments or something, because I'm not gonna just stream them. Just go write down wherever you can write things down to the show. Tell me what Heathen album I should start with at least. Okay, because all of them isn't helpful. So, then Symphony X. So while they were setting up, they were sound checking the drums, and man, those sounded triggered.
I was saying the same to Amber,
but not in a good way.
There was
when
like
I saw Overkill.
Click.
When I saw Overkill like a bajillion years ago, they sound checked the drums twice. They triggered and mic'd them. So they went through and he played each drum and it was all clicky, like Symphony X's. And then he went back through and played, did all the mics, and they sounded lifeless and dull. And then they mixed them together and it sounded amazing.
Right.
That was not the case with during this sound check, at least, because it was all click.
Yeah, it was very, and like we've discussed this before, where like, I mean, I'm hoping this comes across okay. My wife is not like a musician, She doesn't.
I know what you're worried about. She doesn't. She's not as experienced with live music as we are.
Yeah, but she's not going to necessarily. Yeah, but she's not necessarily going to notice like, oh, hey, the drums were a little off here. And she said to me afterwards, like, man, something sounded weird with those drums. And I think when somebody who isn't looking for that sort of thing notices it at a show, it's a problem.
Yeah, like we've become hypersensitive. Like once you start recording albums or like working on live stuff, you tune your ears to go like, oh, we get rid of that, but they went all in on it.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I don't know, half the thing you're doing for me is I'm trying to listen and be like, what are they doing? Maybe we can do it, or how could we do it? But when you notice a problem, then it's like, yeah, something ain't right here.
Yeah,
this isn't right. And yeah, the drums were. Yeah, I feel like once they were playing, it wasn't as bad.
I agree. In isolation, it was not good. It wasn't. Yeah, it was okay in the context, but still, like, didn't sound amazingly great. So, Symphony X comes out, and I'm trying to decide the best way to navigate this discussion. Let's do set first. They opened with Iconoclast. Here's the whole set list: Iconoclast, Nevermore, Inferno Unleash the Fire, Serpent's Kiss, Without You, To Hell and Back, Dehumanized, Evolution the Grand Design, Sea of Lies, then they went off stage, keyboard solo, Paradise Lost, Run with the Devil, Set the World on Fire, The Lie of Lies. So that is 4 songs from the latest album 9 years ago, Underworld, 3 from Paradise Lost, 2 from Iconoclast, and 1 each from Divine Wings, The Odyssey, what's that? V, the New Mythology Suite, and then then a keyboard solo. So I hate Iconoclast. Like, I just don't know what it is about that album.
That is the album. Yeah.
And everyone, I feel like that's also when they were getting very popular, is they put that out. And like, for some reason, everyone loved it. So now they got to keep playing it. And Iconoclast, the song they open with, I'm like, okay. But then they played Dehumanized. And my problem with Dehumanized is that the lyrics are like, don't you realize? Victimized, blah, blah, blah. It is like too many forced rhymes, in my opinion, and it like makes it sound dumb.
Have you heard Russell Allen's solo stuff like Atomic Soul? And
I have Alan
Land.
No, there was another one he did with like Annette Olson.
Yeah, it's just called like Alan Olson.
Yeah, and it's just it's fine.
So his Atomic Soul is his straight up solo stuff. And I feel like, and I could be totally wrong, but left to his own devices, he gravitates towards this like very kick ass, like rock and roll, fuck yeah, rock and roll, heavy metal. And sometimes I feel like that comes through, and maybe Dehumanized is one of them. Remind me, is this the one that starts with like a crazy keyboard solo and is that Dehumanized, or am I thinking of a different one?
I believe it is. See, I just don't listen to it so much. Let's see. Yes, it starts with a keyboard solo.
Okay, and it's got like a kind of kick-assy, but like,
and it starts.
Okay.
Don't get content minced.
but like every now and then I feel like that proclivity of his kind of shines through, and this is one of those moments. I hope I'm thinking of the right song. Yeah. Because I could be describing an entirely different song.
Could be. So the only other song I would have removed from the set is Run with the Devil.
Yeah.
Which, like, I believe it's on Underworld. It's just like, okay. It's like, meh. That took the place of some other great song, and Run with the Devil was in the encore, which is like, the song's not that great. Why is it in the encore?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dehumanized also has "You son of a bitch" in it. It's like, come on. Yeah, so it's like too aggressive, and I know that sounds lame, but Symphony X, like when they're aggressive, it just doesn't work.
I mean, part of it's Russell Allen's vocal range, I think. So like, he is capable of sounding like a monster, for lack of a better description. Like, he can go real gruff and he can go real clean. He makes it all work, and it's incredible. But when he goes ultra gruff and he gets that like kind of kick-assy thing, it's like, all right. Okay.
Pump the brakes, bro.
Yeah, because I feel like Symphony X works the best when it's you got a little bit of the vocal fry kind of screamy thing going on, and you got a little bit of the anger, but then you kind of whip it up into an epic chorus. And yeah, this is not that song.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of these other songs are just like they're hitting the big hit. Like it's all like tracks 1 and 2 of some Sea of Lies, Evolution, the Grand Design, Inferno, Unleash the Fire, Set the World on Fire, The Live Lies. These are all like track 1, track 2, you know. That being said, yeah, my favorite Symphony X album might be First Album Syndrome, is V5, you know, the New Mythology Suite. So I'm glad they addressed it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, V is probably like the first one I really heard, and it's awesome. Like that.
Yeah, my favorite by far. They did play Sea of Lies, which was nice, from Divine Wings, which is probably my second favorite album. So, yeah, thank you for tossing in the old songs for us old people. Yeah, they had, I don't know, like, Symphony X ballads aren't always like just ballads, but they had a couple. They had Without You and Paradise Lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think it worked.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to address Inferno, Unleash the Fire. That's a song I've been trying to learn on and off since it came out. And he makes it look so easy, and it's just so upsetting when he's just like, ho hum, you know. That Symphony X is one of those bands where, like, I can't even play the rhythm guitar parts, you know, much less lead parts. Right.
Michael Romeo's is not fair.
Yeah. Symphony X has always been very solid. Every time I've seen them, they haven't degraded in quality at all. Everyone's talent is still where it was. So really, it's all setlist choices at this point, you know? That's going to determine the quality of your Symphony X show these days. Unless Underworld, the follow-up to Underworld is just terrible, but then still, you know?
Well, so I mean, the one thing I was thinking about as we were watching them is, so we've seen Blind Guardian towards the end of the tour.
Yeah.
And I feel like Hansi's voice takes a beating.
Yeah.
You know, and the same cannot be said of Russell Allen. Right.
Yeah. He sounded solid, powerful, you know, not road worn at all.
Yeah. I mean, he sounded perfect.
Dude, he came out with 2 drinks in his hand when he walked onto the stage.
The dude's out of control.
Speaking of drinks,
I saw him walking through the crowd at a previous Symphony X show, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Russell Allen. But the dude cannot help look like one of 2 things: rock star John Goodman. One of the 2.
Yeah, his transformation into John Goodman seems to have stalled for a little while. At least
he's got longer hair now. When he had his hair real short, it was shut the fuck up, Donnie.
You're out of your element. Over the line.
That was the one I thought he looked the most like John Goodman was that Fillmore show.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
and he wore those like weird sunglasses too.
And he had like a half mask that he put on every now and then, which felt like this is so goofy.
All right, so now I have to complain again.
Mm-hmm.
The lights.
Oh yeah, the lights.
I fucking hated the light. And the screen, the image for this episode is going to have my picture of the lights that I took from the side. It was ridiculous.
Bad. It was
okay, so
bad.
both Heathen and Symphony X had full stacks on stage. Okay, Heathens were Marshall full stacks, but they didn't bring any extraneous lighting.
Okay,
Symphony X used. Heathen used the venue's lighting. Symphony X used the venue's lighting, and they added to it. So what they did was they added these big movable heads, lighting heads, on top of each of the amps. Okay, and They have angle full stacks, which
Are you sure that they were on? Because I swear to God, I mean, maybe I'm.
Okay, I don't know if the amps were on, but the lights sure were.
Yeah,
it could have just been set dressing.
I swear I saw some guy lifting an entire full stack like over his head.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that
you don't
right.
need a full stack in that venue with that PA.
No, you don't.
No, but that's what they had. So they had these lights, movable heads, and they were pointed straight at the back of the room.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was standing at first behind the lighting guy, like literally just right behind the lighting guy, center of the room, 2/3 of the way back. And then when they started, they just shined the fucking lights straight into the audience's fucking faces, and they were all strobing, and
it was
like
bad.
I couldn't see. Oh, it was terrible. And I know I've complained about the Catatonia light show in the past, but this was worse. This was like much brighter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually fairly tolerant to a degree of that sort of thing, but this was like it immediately came out and smacked you in the face. You know what I mean? Like it was bad.
Yeah, and the lighting guy must have known because it was blasting him in the face too. So we immediately moved off to the side. I was like, I can't handle this.
Yeah, I mean, they did let up on it, but I mean, they did
let up, and they were movable heads, so they were moving them around for a while, but every so often they just shine them right in the audience faces again.
Well, the one thing that they did that I've never seen any other light show do is like, okay, so the lights could like go from the top or from the bottom to the top, you know, like over and over again.
Yep.
And normally I feel like when a band does that, it's sort of like this slow movement, you know, it might be like, you know, change color, kind of swirl around. And this was just like bottom to top, bottom to top, bottom to top, you know, with like 4 times per second, 5 times per second sort of rate, all white, flashing like like a scan line. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it was very bad. It was very difficult to watch.
Yeah, it did not enhance the show in any way. It distracted from the show, and it made the show not enjoyable to me. Yeah, luckily it wasn't the entire time, but it was like repeated throughout the set. And they'd move around, so even though we moved off to the back corner, like it'd still get blinded every so often. And you know, my wife had to turn around and look at me, and I know I'm more easy on the eyes than Symphony X, but you know, it's just we paid money to see Symphony X. She can see me for free. So.
Yeah, the one thing that's probably worth calling out is this is the first show of theirs I've seen in a while where they did not play Divine Wings or The Odyssey.
I really want to see Divine Wings. I believe I've seen it before, but I want to see it again.
Yeah. But I mean, The Odyssey is almost a shoo-in, and that sure enough, they did not play it.
Yeah, I'm tired of them playing that as an encore, you know. But like that is like the metal version of a first word problem, you know?
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm so tired of this great song.
That song is so awesome. I wish I'd stop.
Jeez. Well, but the reason specifically is so they can play Divine Wings. I'd like to see that instead.
But yeah,
I want more old stuff, but that's just because I'm old, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see some Damnation Game. Like, that album is pretty fantastic.
Or like some like Winter's Dream, or yeah. I wouldn't mind the whole Divine Wings or New Mythology suite, all of it. Yeah, that'd be great.
But I mean, overall, I thought it was a good show. I mean, the lighting aside, they did a good job. Yeah. And there were some other comparisons I was thinking of. All right, you know, they did the keyboard solo, they did like a band introduction, and all I could do is compare it to Camelot.
Yeah.
Where
I don't like band introductions. I don't care. I already know all their names. I don't care.
Yeah. I don't either, but if you're going to do it, the way they did it is how to do it. It was probably about a minute and a half total.
Yes.
When Camelot does it, it's like 6 minutes.
That's 2 songs they could have played.
Yeah. It's in the middle of Forever.
And it takes forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Forever turns out to be like a 10-minute song when they play it because they do this stupid band intro thing in the middle of it.
They also do the Freddie Mercury. Ayo.
Yeah.
Which Heathen did briefly. Stop it. Move on.
Yeah. But like when they were doing the masturbatory I'm on stage and I'm so awesome shit, they kept it to the appropriate length. It wasn't like a 5-minute keyboard solo. It wasn't a 5-minute band introduction. It was a keyboard solo for a little bit. It was a band introduction for a little bit. Get back to the music. Which I really appreciated because it keeps the show feeling like it's moving. You know, it's still going. We're not just sitting here lingering on this idea. So yeah, overall,
absolutely.
I was happy with the show. It was great to see them again.
Me too. Just get the lights under control, please.
Yes.
Like, I'd go to the exact same show, knowing if they fix the lights, I would be willing to go to the exact same show again. So,
right. That's all I got.
All right. Well, until next time, Metal Nation, point your fucking lights up, not through. Damn it. I meant to mention, I also, Lord of the 80s introduced himself to me. And so I'll link one of his videos of that show.
Oh, for real? He did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.